Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, hey guys, so balance changes have dropped, or I guess as of me recording are going to drop soon, but I think as of you watching this have probably already dropped, and they are pretty scant in terms of changes to actual ranked. Most of these changes are basically just for the new Brawl Arena game mode. So, you know, if you're someone who just does not care for playing Brawl Stars League of Legends, then, I mean, sorry, but who knows, maybe with these balance changes Brawl Arena won't just be the same for brawlers, and then, you know, people will like it more. But let's just jump into these balance changes, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts, give you opinions as someone who's been, I guess it's a good thing I've been playing so much fucking Brawl Arena, because now I can tell you if I think the changes to it are going to save the game mode and make it actually fucking playable for a lot of people. Let's talk first about the non-Brawl Arena balance changes. There are only two, and it is probably the two brawlers you were thinking: Kenji and Lumi. So first off, starting with Kenji, his hypercharge charge rate is going from needing 3 supers to charge to 4 supers. So that's a pretty solid, substantial nerf. I think in the past when brawlers got nerfed like this, I mean, I'm just thinking, poor Sam. Brawlers like Sam, whose hypercharge effect is really strong, you know, charge rate nerfs have helped. But at the same time, you know, it doesn't always work, because they did that with Chester's, and he's still really fucking strong. His hypercharge is still a legalized nuclear bomb. So that's probably not going to be enough. And the Brawl Stars devs know this, so they've actually added more. Wow, rare moment when they actually nerf the hypercharge effect instead of just nerfing the charge rate. Thank fucking Christ. So for Kenji's hypercharge, they've actually gutted the fuck out of this effect. They've done two things. They've removed the knockup from the hypercharge. So I guess you're no longer going to get stunned. But they haven't removed the pull, because the hypercharge still pulls you. It's just the second thing they've done is they've reduced the pull effect strength by 75%. What does that mean? I have no clue. I genuinely have no idea. I mean, I'm down to test it tomorrow when the balance changes drop. I think they drop tomorrow. I actually don't know. Yeah, they drop tomorrow, as of me recording this. So I'm down to test it. But a pull effect that doesn't have a knockback, like that isn't a stun, and also is reduced in effect by 75%. Who the fuck knows what that looks like? Like, if you can still move, then is it going to be like a Lumi route almost, where it's like you can still shoot and attack but you can't move? Or can you still move? Like, I don't know what it means when they say move knockup. You know, we'll see. But if it is the case that they've just totally removed the stun effect, then I think his hypercharge is going to be a lot more balanced now, especially at a 4 super charge rate. Like, that's going to take a while to get. So you're not going to be able to use it on knockout as much, I think. I'm pretty sure. And maybe even a lot of open maps, you're probably not even going to get one. And the fact that now, if it doesn't have a stun too, like, wow, that's actually a game changer. It's going to be just way worse. He does still have the teleport, so just to be clear, he does still have the teleport, he does still have the damage boost, so he does still have more lifesteal and healing and all the nonsense that Kenji has, and the immunity frames that comes with the super. But he's not going to stun you, maybe, we'll see, and he also won't pull you in as much. So yeah, that'll be pretty nice to see. Kenji might be cooked. And then the second brawler, who unfortunately I think wasn't nerfed hard enough, was Lumi. So she got one single change. They only gave her one change, and the one change is to one of her star powers, Halftime, the one that adds a 2-second slow on her basic attack when she pulls her balls back. Draco might have some exploring to do, but that nerf is like kind of like, it's a good nerf, don't get me wrong, but Lumi just has so much in her goddamn kit. It is so overloaded for a mythic brawler. We've got infinite ammo, we've got really high fucking damage on top of the infinite ammo, we've got really long range, we've got really fast unload speed, like she just spams shots out. We have a super that roots you, that goes through walls and does a lot of damage and can tick for 2 times and is pretty auto-aimable. And we have the ice gadget, which is like really fucking versatile and is basically a lose super on a green button that you can just kind of spam out with the help of the gadget gear, and it's just so broken and just gives you free hits. And we also have the star power slow. And when you're looking at the totality of how broken Lumi is as a brawler, being able to fucking first pick it sometimes in every single situation, even on the most open maps, and being able to even take her into assassins and tanks and come out on top in those engagements, you know, taking the top off of like the cherry on top of this entire fucking shit pie that we have in terms of Lumi being the brawler that is as broken as she is, it's a nerf that's going to be helpful. But I think they definitely could have done more. So maybe I personally would like to see her damage getting cucked by a lot. Just right now, the amount of damage she can fart out is insane. If not the damage though, at the very least, unload speed, maybe that could be kind of touched up a little. Just like increase how long it takes for her to fully unload a full combo, just so that when an assassin dives on her, she can actually go down. I think that could be really cool, and then she'll become more of like a mid-range menace like M's that I think she was intended to be. And the ice gadget too probably shouldn't deal damage. Maybe the effect could be nerfed too in terms of like the radius of the balls, like the ice slippery juice on the floor, or like something with the cooldown too, I guess could be nerfed too. But yeah, just something about the ice gadget probably needs to be nerfed as well. Right now it's just way too fucked and dominant. And I think with those changes, she'll probably be more balanced. But as of right now, I'm pretty certain that she'll still be really fucking good. The slow, it is getting nerfed in half, but it is still a 1 second slow. So a second slow is still a pretty long amount of time in Brawl Stars terms, especially when you're playing Lumi and have infinite ammo. So just keep that in mind. And that basically wraps it up for all the balance changes. So yeah, thanks for watching. Take care. See ya. No, I'm just kidding. So now we have the Brawl Arena changes. Oh boy, I can't wait to see how they've nerfed Kenji, Lumi, Jacky, and Clancy. Kenji, Lumi, Jacky, and Clancy. Those are the 4 brawlers that we have to keep an eye on, guys. Those are the fucking 4 horsemen of ruining Brawl Arena. I just want to say, actually, before I get into the nerfs and the buffs, so because there are buffs this time, it is really weird that they don't tell us the information for all of the game mode. Like, let's take a look at the first nerf on the list. We have Janet. The amount of increased damage that she deals when she levels up is getting nerfed. So when you level up in Brawl Arena, your stats increase. And things like reload speed, damage, HP, you know, movement speed, those things get buffed up as you level up. And for Janet, they have decreased the amount that damage increases when she levels up. So before, per level up, her damage would increase by 9%. But now it'll go down to only 4%, but it's still increasing, like, right? You get what I'm saying? And first of all, that is kind of an insane number that her damage increased by 10% per level. That explains a lot of why I saw so much Janet everywhere, and why she felt so goddamn strong. She was dealing like 8,000 damage a shot at some points, and when I was playing around with her in Brawl Arena, it was definitely insane. I was like, man, why does she do so much damage? It's because per level, her damage was basically increasing by almost 10%. So that's getting nerfed now, cut in half, which is great. But what's annoying is that it's hard for me to judge a lot of these nerfs without actually seeing what the other stat changes are. Like, is Janet still going to be good? I don't actually really know, because they don't tell you how much her HP increases per level. They don't tell you how much her reload speed decreases per level. They don't tell you how much, like, all of these numbers are different per brawler. That's why Brawl Arena, the meta, is very different from regular Brawl Stars. Not just because of, obviously, you know, the way the map is set up with the heist saves and the minions everywhere that block single shot brawlers and stuff, but also the brawler stats are just different as the game goes on. But we don't really know how they differ. We genuinely have no idea. They don't tell you anywhere. And it pisses me off. TSPMOFR with the wilting flower emoji. It's just like a little pet peeve of mine. As you go through these balance changes, like, they bothered me when I read through these at first. Like, wait, what do you mean? You know, for example, Ash, he's getting nerfed. The amount his HP increases per level up is being decreased from 750 to 550. And the amount that his damage is increased by per level up is being decreased from 4% to 3%. And I look at this and I'm like, okay, so the amount his HP is increasing by per level is being decreased by 200 HP per level. So I guess when he's level 10, right, he'll be short like 2,000 HP. That sounds like a lot. That actually does sound like a really substantial nerf. But at the same time, I have no basis to compare this to. Like, what is Frank's HP gain per level? What is Jacky's? Well, we know what Jacky's is because she's included in this list of balance changes, you know, but like, what are other tanks? I mean, what is Daryl's? I have no idea, because they're not being changed, so we aren't told what the fucking stats are. Release the stats, Brawl Stars. Release the fucking stats. I want to know. This is annoying. Ash was also really strong, so that is good that he got nerfed, and his damage is being touched slightly. Like, just a little bit of baby oil. I mean, 1% per level change. It doesn't sound like a lot. I guess across like a full game at level 10, that'll be like a 10% damage difference. So that'll be pretty decent. Ash might be a little bit less dominant. It was really annoying that he just spawned so many fucking rats everywhere, and that his rats gave him rage off of the bots too. Yeah, he was pretty dominant. Good to see him get touched up a little, but we still haven't seen the 4 horsemen yet. And we won't see it for yet another brawler either. The next up on the list, we have Chaeyoung, literally me / SpenLC, depending on who you're a bigger fan of. Now, Chaeyoung, his HP has been decreased. The amount of HP that he the amount that his HP increases by per level is being decreased by 50 HP. Such a weird, it's so, I don't know. I think I'll get more used to it as we go through the balance changes, but I keep fucking up how I say this. But yeah, the amount his HP is increasing per level is being decreased by 50. And that is basically a nothing. I don't really see that as like the craziest nerf ever. A 500 HP nerf across 10 levels is like who even cares? And reload speed is also being decreased by 0.5%. So before his reload speed would decrease by 2.5%. That's a good thing, by the way. When your reload speed decreases, it takes less time to reload. That it was being decreased by 2.5% per level, but now it is being changed to only 2%. So cool to know. That's definitely interesting. How does that compare to other brawlers? I don't know. Did he even need the nerf per se? I mean, it's such a small nerf, I guess. Whatever. I don't really think Chaeyoung was like dominating Brawl Arena in my games, but maybe he was just really broken and I just didn't get to try him enough. I wish the trophy game mode was a little bit more competitive. Like, there's no competitive way to test this anywhere because it's not in ranked, right? They really should add some kind of ranked game mode for this, because it's right now it's just ladder, and ladder is lame and it's poopy. And I have no idea if a brawler is cooked or if a brawler is OP when I tested in Brawl Arena. Like, you have a general idea what the broken brawlers are, but I just wish the matchmaking was a little more competitive. It'd be cool if they added that in, just some semblance of like a ranked matchmaking with like a pick and ban system. They showed it in Brawl Cup. Just port that over in the regular game. Why not? Either way, Chaeyoung, I think Chaeyoung and actually Ash 2 and Janet, all three of those are probably still going to be good. Like, they're still going to be good brawlers in Brawl Arena. It's just, I think any brawler has potential to be good in Brawl Arena as long as you play a really safe early game. That is kind of one of the things that I really like about Brawl Arena so far. That applies to most brawlers. Some brawlers are kind of, their kit just inherently is so bad, I don't think they can be saved. But all three of the brawlers that I've covered so far in the nerfs are probably still going to be good as long as the 4 horsemen get nerfed. And actually, we've just arrived at the final 3 nerfs, which include 3 out of the 4 horsemen of the Brawl Arena Apocalypse. I'll tell you right now that Kenji is not on this list of nerfs, which is interesting, but I think it's because they just nerfed his hypercharge, so he already got his nerf, I guess. His stats scaling in Brawl Arena hasn't been changed at all, and I assume that once the hypercharge is nerfed anyways, like that was probably the most broken thing about it. Once that's nerfed, I guess he'll be more balanced too, so probably will be fine to not nerf him, I guess, for Brawl Arena specifically. Starting off with the nerfs though, in Brawl Arena, we got Lumi. Her HP scaling is being reduced by a lot, 150 per level, and then her damage scaling is also being reduced by a ton, going from 6% to 2%, a huge reduction in the damage increase per level. And also her movement speed increasing per level is being decreased too, from 8 to 5. Don't know what that means, I couldn't tell you. I think when I look at the Brawl Stars Lumi base movement speed, it's 720. Like, I think Brawl Stars has this internal number system for movement speed that is just made up. So a normal movement speed is 720. A fast movement speed for like tanks, for example, is 770. And then a very fast movement speed on brawlers like Crow is 820. So when the movement speed is decreasing from 8 to 5 per level, I assume that just means before she was getting like in 10 levels she was getting plus 80 movement speed, so she was going from normal to a little less than very fast, but now across 10 levels she'll only gain 50 movement speed, so that'll go from basically normal to just fast. It's like a slight nerf. I don't know, it's kind of hard to interpret, but I think that's what that means. In general, I think the biggest thing that Lumi will feel is for sure the HP and the damage nerfs. The damage in particular, I can't believe she had a 6% damage increase per level. Jesus Christ, man, that brawler was fucked in Brawl Arena. She just, again, the infinite ammo thing, can we just like nerf something about her basic attack, please, that isn't just the star power? Because the amount of damage she shits out, even in the normal game mode, outside of Brawl Arena is insane. The fact that her damage increased by 6% per this level is also like, fuck, that sounds pretty fucked up to me. I don't know, that sounds crazy. Hopefully with this, I think she'll be toned down a lot. I don't know if she'll be killed for sure, just because like the base brawler is so broken, and just in what you can do, like you're already so strong, you can probably just gain a really early lead and then snowball it into just winning the game in the early game. But it sounds like her scaling is a lot less than other brawlers, so in the late game, she actually might get overtaken by a lot of other brawlers if you can play like a really good jungle and get support from your lane or something. So that could be pretty cool. Whatever the case is, you know, limiting the options that Lumi has to win the game is great. I like that. Now, next up on the list for brawlers nerfed in Brawl Arena, it's Jacky. HP increase per level is being decreased from 750 to 500, and her damage increasing per level has been decreased from 4% to 2%. So pretty spicy nerfs, pretty hefty. I think they're hefty nerfs. I think that HP nerf sounds like a pretty solid nerf. So like at level 10 before, she would have had something like 17,500 HP. Now she'll only have 15,000 HP. That's great. Amazing. Jacky was and probably still is really strong in that jungle region. The scary thing is that because they haven't nerfed Dog, I think I'm worried that Dog is just going to take Jacky's role and become the next broken jungler. Even though Dog doesn't have the super to suck people in, it's still the same thing like a circle brawler that is just really hard to kill, especially in Doug's case, who's harder to kill than Jacky, who can do a lot of damage in Doug's case with his gadget, and Doug has a lot of survivability with his healing too. If Jacky is nerfed out of the Brawl Arena meta, then Doug will probably just take her place. And if she's not nerfed out of the Brawl Arena meta, then she'll still be really fucking annoying. So it's kind of like either way that sucks, but at least she'll be a little bit worse off now and easier to take out. There have been cases where I've seen Jackies live on very low HP and just kill people with Counter Crusher, which is really annoying. So that being nerfed is nice. And then for the last one on the list of nerfs, we've got Clancy. The amount that his damage increases by per level is being decreased from 3% to 1%. Wow, like he gets a 1% increased damage per level. They really don't want Clancy to have fun, and he shouldn't. Except this next change, I think, on Clancy actually just straight up kills him in Brawl Arena anyways, right? This other change, robots don't count towards his passive ability anymore. So his token collection, where he generates tokens off of hits from enemies and robots, now it just only generates off of enemies. Wow, guys, that's crazy. I actually kind of expected them to maybe just do something where it takes double or triple the amount of tokens to level up for Clancy in Brawl Arena specifically, just because he can get it off of robots. I liked that he could get it off of robots. I mean, Clancy isn't in the meta in normal play anyways, and it was cool that like Brawl Arena was the one game mode where he could shine, because robots in this game mode benefit a lot of brawlers like passives and star powers and stuff. But the fact that Clancy in particular is just like, fuck you, you get no tokens now. I think that's going to be really brutal. Clancy's dead, guys. Clancy's just dead. A lot of people are going to be happy to hear that. I'm a little bit sad because I do like playing Clancy, even though he's really fucking annoying. Like, I don't know. His shot is not AoE. He's going to really struggle to even land hits on brawlers at all in this game mode with how many bots are on the map, let alone like all of the deadly jungles and the assassins that basically dominate this game mode right now. Like, what is a level 1 Clancy going to do against a Jacky in the bush, right? What is he going to do? He's going to do nothing. He's going to die. That's what he's going to do. And he's going to feed, and then he's going to be extra worse. And it's not even like high risk, high reward kind of gameplay, because late game, you know, now his damage increasing per level has been fucked over too. It only increases by 1% per level. Bro, he's cooked. He's gonna do no damage. He's gonna do nothing. He's not even gonna have a good early game. He's gonna do no damage late game. It's like, what do you play this brawler for? I don't know. I think Clancy's dead, guys. I think now you just go over and play Griff or Colt or something else, or Lumi, because she's still probably going to be really good. Like, even Lumi kept more of her damage increasing per level than fucking Clancy did. That's crazy. I don't know, guys. If you can find a way to somehow level up in time, like maybe I could see there could be a vision on this brawler, because his hypercharge still is really good for melting the kaiju and the enemy base, but I have a feeling like the early game is just going to be so punishing that it might not be worth it. So that's my overall thoughts on the nerf so far. 4 horsemen have been nerfed. Kenji, not so much directly in Brawl Arena, but just his hypercharge in general has been nerfed, and the other 3 have been fucked over in Brawl Arena, which is great. I still think Lumi and Jacky are going to be really good, but overall, them being weaker will give other brawlers a bigger chance to shine, especially with these list of buffs. Now, a lot of weaker brawlers in Brawl Arena might actually have a chance to shine. I don't know. We'll see. Except starting off, we have Tick, and so his damage increasing per level has been increased from 3% to 5%, and then his reload speed has also been increased from 2% to 3% increasing per level. Don't play Tick in Brawl Arena. Don't do it. Why would you? Your head is going to target the bots, of which there are plenty on this map, and you are not going to get your super very much, and you're going to just die a lot. Don't do it. Just don't pick Tick in Brawl Arena. This is useless. And then same thing with Meeple too. Don't pick Meeple in Brawl Arena. His reload speed is way too slow. Like, he does get more HP now per level and a little bit more damage per level too, but like, his reload speed is just so slow regardless. His shots are single target, so he can't pierce. The main thing about Meeple in regular play was, and still kind of is the fact that you can just kind of like wiggle and 3-shot people with your auto aim. That was the great thing about Meeple, just a really consistent brawler, really reliable in terms of getting that 3-shot and then utility with his gadgets. But in Brawl Arena, I think the utility with his gadgets is a lot less because there's less strategies with comboing with Hank and stuff and a thrower. because you don't really play those brawlers in this game mode anyways, and you don't really want to double up people on your lane most of the time because that actually shares XP and you get less leveling up over time in the game. Support brawlers in general, I think in Brawl Arena aren't as strong, but Meeple in particular is just like, brawlers HP will increase faster than the damage increases, if that makes sense. So as people level up, your 3-shot combo with Meeple that is so prized is going to be even worse. And on top of that, you can't even auto-aim in Brawl Arena very much because of how many bots are all over the map. If you try to do an auto-aim combo with Meeple, which is the whole point because it's like super consistent to land, in Brawl Arena you can't really do that. So yeah, Meeple is just shit in Brawl Arena, just fundamentally. B-stat boosts do not save him. Don't pick Meeple in Brawl Arena. Next up, we've got Stu. His HP has gone from 450 to 550 increase per level. Damage has gone from 4% to 5% increase per level. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one also a don't pick Stu in Brawl Arena, actually. I think I'm gonna also give this one a useless rating. This... like, Stu already, he's kind of trending downwards in regular play as well, to be honest, because they nerfed his hypercharge rate, and that was like the main thing that kind of saved him and gave him a lot of pressure in the game. But taking positioning in Brawl Arena is less about actually where you are placed on the map and more about the bots that you clear and how much damage you can output on the map and stuff. I think Stu as a brawl, he just doesn't have the DPS. He just doesn't. And his shots don't pierce. That doesn't do him any favors. He can get a super from bots because of how fast the super charges, but it still takes him like 3 ammo or 4 ammo to do it. It's not worth it. And also Gas Heal, I think, is worse in this game mode. I actually haven't tested this, so I could be wrong. Big disclaimer, I don't actually know this for sure, but I think Gas Heal is worse because it's a flat healing amount, but I'm not really sure. Some star powers do scale, I realized when I was playing the game mode. So maybe that's me being out of touch, but yeah, I wouldn't pick Stu anyways. Doesn't really do good into any of the assassins, and doesn't have the damage to compete with other damage dealers. Moving on now to Mortise. Actually, I think this one is not only a crazy buff, but also unnecessary. Mortise, in my opinion, was already kind of good. He does AoE, right? And also, he's an assassin who I think he has a pretty good matchup into Lumi, or he can if you can get a nice level lead, because Lumi is so broken, she just wins against everything. But if you can get a level lead and pinch people, Mortise actually has a pretty solid matchup. And especially because what I like about Mortise in Brawl Arena is his super healing works on robots, so you can heal off of robots. And as we all know, you know, the main thing about Mortise is chaining those supers and getting those multiple heal combos to become unkillable, especially with his hypercharge. I actually think Mortise is really solid on Brawl Arena. I've had success with playing him there. Yeah, he doesn't do the greatest into Jacky off of Rip, but he does do okay into Kenji, especially if you can get one super and just hit a couple bots, you'll just be healed to full. I actually think Mortise is really nice, and he also gets he just gets so much ammo as you level up because his reload speed scaling is insane. If you have the reload star power, or sorry, the reload gadget too, you just fly, man. You have so much ammo and you do a lot of damage. They really buffed his damage scaling up too. I think it's hard to actually know what his damage scaling numbers are because they don't tell you, which is again really fucking annoying. From what I felt, it feels good, and his reload speed buffs too, it feels good. I think Mortise is already pretty good with a plus 200 HP buff per level. I think he's gonna be really strong, I think, in Brawl Arena. I could be wrong, but I think he's gonna be pretty solid. So if you're a assassin one trick, you know, you can just move over from playing Kenji to playing Mortise. Congratulations, your playstyle has not changed. And then next up on the buffs list, we've got Jean. Don't pick Jean in Brawl Arena. I had someone in my fucking chat on live stream bait me into picking Jean in Brawl Arena, saying I could pull a fucking safe. That was so evil. You know who you are, and I hope you feel guilty about it. But yeah, Jean is just bad. I think if they buffed up his reload speed scaling or something, it would be better. I have tried it in Brawl Arena again afterwards just for this footage, and it was just not great. The bots just take too long to kill. You know, getting your last hits is one thing, but like all the assassins on this map, there's too much HP on the map. He just doesn't do the damage. His pull doesn't feel that useful because there's so many bots on the field. It's like playing Jean into 30 Mr. P's who all have porters down at the same time. It's like, how do you even pull someone? You don't. You just sit there and you cry. And that is what playing Jean in Brawl Arena feels like. Don't do it. Next up on the buffs list, this is the second to last brawler that's getting buffed. It's Fang. His HP is being increased from 450 to 550 increasing per level, and then damage increasing per level has been buffed from 4% to 5%. Really minor damage buff. HP buff is on the smaller side too. Fang has potential to be solid, I think, in Brawl Arena. The nice thing about Fang is his star power fresh kicks that gives you your super back when you kill someone with it. It actually works on the bots, so you can go Fang lane and can cycle supers, and it does feel really satisfying to just chain supers off of bots. It's really cool to do it. The issue is that because the super auto targets the nearest thing, it'll put you in places you don't want to be a lot of the times, like on the enemy turret or away from an enemy that you want to kill, or sometimes you'll just die to a bot because it like punches you so fast. I don't know. His HP is being increased, so he'll be a little bit more survivable sometimes, but I think with how fast all the brawlers get to at the end of the game, brawlers like Fang and Lily, whose attacks are a little bit stubbier, feel kind of harder to play as well. I'm not sure if I love the Fang. I think he could be okay. I think he might actually be fine. We'll see. Maybe you can try it in your games and let me know how that goes. And then for the last buff on the list, we have Gus. His HP increasing is basically not changing at all, actually. It's going from 600 to 650. It's, you know, per level, I mean, whatever. And then damage is also kind of like whatever, from 3% to 4% per level. It's like, cool. Gus actually may be kind of a solid lane, though. I know I said support brawlers are generally weaker, and they might be, but I think Gus, if you go like the healing star power and just put down a bunch of healing on the map, you know, he can get pretty hard to kill. I think there could be potential with his hypercharge too. He actually can keep himself alive against a lot of assassins and can kill Jacky sometimes if you like do it right. It's kind of like playing Spike a little bit. And he has really long range. He has really solid damage, really solid HP, which is being increased for some reason too. I think this could be pretty good. I would lump him in with Fang, like potentially pretty solid. But does he compete in the lane versus like a Colt who just shits out all the damage in the world, or like Barry who just has infinite healing at a certain point and just never dies and also shits out all the damage on turrets and stuff? Does he compete with brawlers like Jessie, Penny, Griff, Colette, Belle, Maisie, Pearl, Juju, Larry and Laurie, Shade, Janet, Mo, Lumi, Cheong, Crow, Amber, Chester? Actually, I think he does compete with a solid number of those. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be good. Won't be like meta defining though. I'm not 100% sure how the meta is going to settle after these changes, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Colt and Lumi are still going to be really fucking annoying lanes and stuff that are just going to melt everything. And then Doug and Jacky are still going to be really solid jungles. Kenji might be solid. Ash is still going to be good. Janet is still going to be really good. Taeyong is still going to be really good. There's just going to be more really good brawlers that are going to be able to shine, I think, now. So maybe if you were turned off from Brawl Arena before, you should try jumping back into it tomorrow. I think it'll be really cool. It could be really fun to try out the meta. Maybe I'll even stream tomorrow. Oh my god. And then we'll test out the meta together. We'll hold hands and do a nice little kumbaya. And also at the very end here, for some other miscellaneous balance changes to Brawl Arena in general, they've decreased the amount of XP that jungle robots give from 120 to 110, and then they've increased the amount of XP that small lane robots give from 35 to 40. So they're trying to buff up the lanes while nerfing the jungle, because the jungle was way fucking OP. If you guys don't know, in Brawl Arena there's a proximity XP thing, so if you get a kill on a bot, normally if you last hit it, you're supposed to get, you know, the full amount of XP. So for example, if you last hit a lane robot, before you would get 35 XP, now that's being increased to 40, but before you would get 35 XP, but if you missed the last hit, you would get 17 XP, right? Well, there's a proximity effect too. So if your teammate, specifically your jungle, is in the bush nearby and you get a kill on a robot, well, your XP, even if you last hit the bot, it would be shared between you and your teammate. So you would get only 17 XP. It would be like if you didn't get the last hit at all. And then the other 17 XP would go to your fucking teammate. And then if you miss last hit and your teammate is nearby, you would get 11 XP. So you'd get even less XP. So you still need to last hit to get more XP. But it's just your XP would be stolen by your fucking teammate. Like the fucking government steals your tax. I'm kidding, that was a joke. I pay my due diligence, IRS. Please do not come after me. But because the jungle is so close to the other lanes, and because of how often the junglers do go in on the lanes to like help pinch and stuff, junglers would just be so fucking high level throughout the course of the game. They would, like, everyone knows the Jacky on your team was probably the highest level all the time, and it was so weird. And then they would feed while going in on a bad dive, and then the enemy team would be overbuffed, and then you'd be fucking struggling. It's, you know, the classic Brawl Arena experience. But now they're trying to take a little bit more power away from the junglers. They generally get less XP now from jungle robots, although they still can steal lane XP and stuff. But you can also steal jungle XP, so keep that in mind. If you see a jungler going in to kill their camps, maybe you can go in and snag a little XP here and there. I think the balance changes will be good. We'll have to see how it plays out. Like I said, you can kind of just steal XP, so it might not even make the biggest difference, but small differences can add up over time. And they've also changed the bounty threshold now. Before, there was a bounty system where enemies who had a big XP lead or a level lead on your team would get a bounty. but now there has to be a bigger XP gap between brawlers for a bounty to occur. That might mean it'll be harder to come back. That could also mean that if you're winning, it'll be easier to win. So that, you know, some goods and bads with that. Just win, I guess, just play well. They've also done a few other changes, like dealing damage to towers now counts less towards getting star player. Before, you would have like 2 and 7 brawlers get star player just because they did a bunch of damage to the tower, even though they fucking threw the game. But you know what, they got their tower damage, so shout outs to them. And then the level up sound effects volume has been reduced, so thank God. But also, why is it still a hypercharged sound? Can it just be changed, maybe? Like, I feel like it's a little distracting to hear a psh, even if it's a quieter psh, you know? It's like going from ear rape to like a steady, quiet, gentle piss stream in the morning. It would be cool if it was something different, and you would know when people hypercharged. They've also doubled the amount of mastery points you get from Brawl Arena, so that's really nice. Even more reason to play Brawl Arena, let's go. I was already grinding Brawl Arena for my masteries anyways, honestly, but this just gives me more of a reason to do so. That's awesome, I love that. And then they've increased the Kaiju HP by 10,000 health. So before it was 40,000 health that the Kaiju had, now it's 50,000. You might have a little bit more time to actually go in and try to steal or fight for the Kaiju bot instead of just seeing the Kaiju is here, defeat the Kaiju, and then just immediately seeing the enemy team has stolen the Kaiju. It's like, great, that's awesome. I didn't even get a chance to fucking do anything because the enemy team had a Clancy at max level and a Lumi, both of which got nerfed. So maybe it'll be replaced now with Colt and something else. But yeah, the amount of damage you can deal in the late game is just so high. It's nice that they did increase the Kaiju HP, although I would personally have liked to see it maybe scale over time. That could be like a nice compromise too, because I do wonder if like when it first spawns in the early game, if it might be really hard to take out now. We'll see though. They've also added some buffs to the towers on the base, so the towers have an increased reload speed by 10%. I think what that means is, okay, it means they now attack slower, so they don't just spam out shots now, which is nice because it means you can last hit a little bit more easily. Like, as of right now, I'm kind of struggling to last hit when it's a fucking tower thing. This could be a noob issue, okay, skill issue for sure, but they just shoot so damn fast. It's actually hard to weave in your attacks to get the last hit sometimes, but it'll be harder for the towers to steal your last hit, which is nice. The towers also deal 20% less damage to lane bots, so I guess kind of the trade-off here is you kind of have to be there to defend your lane more and be more vigilant with that, because otherwise your tower will just get swarmed by bots, since it has a slower attack speed and also less damage to robots. But the really nice thing I think here is they've also made it so now when a brawler is killed by a tower, everyone on the team gets XP. I think that is nice, because before you could honestly tower dive people, and as long as you got the kill, if you died after you got the kill, the enemy player you killed wouldn't get any XP, because you only get XP from stuff if you're alive. So there was actually a legitimate strategy there where you could just tower dive people. It made junglers stronger, basically. So now that when junglers die, when they tower dive you, they'll actually be punished. I think I'll have to play around with it more though to see if I really like it or not. Everyone on the team getting XP versus like just the person who was nearby. Like, I don't know. I don't want to give little Timmy, who's on 7 deaths on Edgar, any XP for my kill that I earned by dying before, and then the tower getting the kill instead of me. But like, you know, I wasn't there, you know, I feel like whatever. We'll see, we'll see. They've also increased the amount of damage that the base does by 15%, which is great because before it was basically shooting little pellets. And it also now deals double damage to brawlers. So on top of the 15% damage increase, it now deals double damage to brawlers. It has gone from a steady stream of little pellets to now a pretty hefty stream. Like you've been drinking and had a bunch of water and have sat through a movie, and you really need to go because you've been holding it in all day. It's like that kind of heavy stream. So, and then same thing too, when a brawler is eliminated by the base, everyone on the team gets XP. They've done that too. So yeah, those are all the changes. We'll have to see how the tower changes feel. I think the base dealing more damage is nice. Now you'll actually have to push in maybe with some bots to tank for you. You'll be incentivized to do so. But now you'll also have to defend your towers a little bit more and be more vigilant about that. So now lanes have to do more work. But jungle did get nerfed in general. And the 4 annoying broken brawlers did get nerfed too. So now maybe some other brawlers will have a chance to shine, and the game mode will feel perfectly balanced, as all things should be. That's gonna be it for me, guys. I might have to just make a bunch of Brawl Arena videos. Fuck, man. I was hoping that the update would drop some epic ranked content that could be cool to show off, but it seems the content might have to be Brawl Arena. So if you're interested in Brawl Arena, then subscribe. I will still post some ranked content if I can find ideas for it. Maybe I'll have to find more brawler 1-tricks to 1v1 or some stupid shit. Fuck, I don't know. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Mwah. Maybe I'll stream. Be there for that.